right, I will go ahead and get started. Again, it's 3 o'clock Eastern. We want to thank everyone for joining today. This is Sarah Oldiani, Member Benefits Advocate at the Mortgage Collaborative. We are so glad to have you all join us today for our TMC networking call, part of our TMC networking series titled How to Provide Continuing Education to Real Estate Agents and Build a Referral-Based Business. And today, this is presented by TMC member Hesh Sagafi of Liberty Home Mortgage, who has been providing us a lot of awesome content to the network and over the last few months, as well as at our last conference, and we hope he will keep joining us. So we're super excited to have him today. Thank you, Hesh. And we also want to encourage everybody to ask questions, type those into the chat box or your Q&A box. Everyone is muted right now, but we want to keep this going with everyone really engaged in the call. We are going to be showing some things on our screen. So if you're not on the screen right now and you're just called in, we will be giving you all of this tomorrow via email, recording, and any of the information that Hesh is providing. So I will go ahead and hand it over to Hesh.
Sarah, you're too kind. I appreciate it, along with the other ladies, of course, Ashley and Angela. Faith, I appreciate everything the Collaborative does for me. So I know on this call, predominantly, of course, we have loan officers, but there's also some other salespeople that I invited on to watch also. So the whole point of today is when it comes to building your business or really solidifying it and building your brand, I'm going to show you something that I used that ultimately I always tell people. I learned it on January 19th, 2002. While you're sitting on your computer watching this, pull up Google and you can pull up January 19th, 2002, Chicago NFL playoff game. I was in Chicago that day for a game of the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Chicago Bears. And I sat down with a gentleman who at the time was worth $800 million. And we were talking about opening my new business. And my new business was a mortgage company. And he was asking me what my business plan was and how I was going to generate business and things like that. I told him, I said, cold calling, telemarketing, direct mail, things like that. He drew out a schematic for me that at the end of the day, to this day, I use it. And I will tell you, this schematic, it beats everything. It beats cold calling. It beats spending money on Lending Tree, Zillow, outside lead sources. Over the years of 21 years of doing this, I've had joint venture marketing agreements with real estate companies, real estate brokers. I've had TV commercials, billboard, you could name it, I've done it. And I will tell you what I'm going to show you today, nothing compares to it. And it does not matter what sales job you are in, the plan and the schematic that I'm going to show you, I call it the 3 circles of success. It applies to every type of sales job. And what I'm going to do nearer the end of this is show you a live, real-time thing that I do, which is getting approved to give continuing education to real estate agents. And I'm going to show you why is it continuing education and why is the approach to real estate agents. So even though you might not even be necessarily in sales as a loan officer or even this industry necessarily, maybe you're in operations, the plan works the same. It's about building relationships. And when you want to build a relationship, it's not just go and say hello to every single person you talk to. Nobody has that kind of time. You want to be very targeted and surgical with what you do. So what I'm going to show you today, I'm going to start this whole talk with the actual plan, the drawing, and the roadmap of how you build it and put it together. I'm going to finish this by actually showing you this is why it's continuing education for me. This is why real estate agents were and are my target. And this is how you actually apply it in real time. And I'm going to show you an example of it. And Sarah has all of my handouts up there. And of course, when this is all said and done, besides simply asking questions in the chat box or anything like that, I'm always available for anybody for anything. For the people out there that are loan officers, of course, and they want to give continuing education seminars, I'm more than happy to give you my material. I've done these seminars for 16 years. I'll actually give you my actual material. You could steal it, use it, copy it, plagiarize it, do whatever you want. I write the stuff myself. Of course, when it comes to certain laws, I copy and paste the law verbatim as it's written. But the bottom line is I'm always available to help anybody with it. And what I'm about to show you, for me personally as a salesperson, I generally close over 21 years of doing this and 16 years of using this method of business. I generally close 150 transactions a year just on referrals from this system. And what I'm going to show you with the schematic is a lot of people say, well, Hesh, all of my business is referral. And when it's family, friends, and old clients, I'm not being a jerk about this. That is not consistent. That is not steady. That is not dependable. And that is not enough to ultimately live a lifestyle that most people want to live. And I'm not saying you want to go spend tons of money on cars and planes and boats and fancy things like that. But I'm talking about when hard times come, I could tell you that this plan that I'm going to show you today, it has carried me through 2 recessions. That's not even counting the recession that we're sitting in right now, okay? So it's going to be 3 recessions. So the plan works. So Sarah has this up on the screen right now. So if we start at the very top, it says this entire topic, if you look up on the screen, she's got it. This entire topic is premised on one single question. What can I do for you? So Sarah, if you could take that down really quick for me. Mo's going to follow me over here to this side here. This whole topic today, the whole topic is what can I do for you? I'm going to show you, especially to the loan officers, how to get approved to give continuing education to real estate agents. I'm going to show you that, okay? It's not enough to get approved. It's not enough to give the education. You have to have this thought burned into your soul, not your mind, not your words, not even just your actions. It's got to be burned into your soul. What can I do for you? You have to have a mentality of helping other people and providing them with knowledge. I'll give you a quick example. You're going to see it at the end of this topic. But on Thursday, and 2 days from now, I'm doing a seminar, a webinar on Zoom for civil rights. It's a 3-hour lecture on civil rights. I will tell you this one. When I read Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech on the steps that he gave on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in August of 1963, that is intense. I mean, that is an intense speech. When he gave his I Have Been to the Mountaintop speech, April 3rd, 1968, that is an intense speech. When I'm talking about civil rights, I'm not worried about quoting my interest rates to people. I'm not worried about quoting my loan programs to people. I'm interested in educating them on the law, on the topic, and how it can help their business. And that's all because I have this mentality. What can I do for you? When you adjust your thinking to this, I'm telling you, it begins to grow. This is step 1. Sarah, if you could put that material back up there as you have it, and I appreciate it. You'll see it says on the material, you must completely forget about yourself. I call the plan the 3 circles of success. I'll stop there again, Sarah, if you pull that down, and Mo, if you show it up here. This roadmap here that I'm showing you, I call this the 3 circles of success. 3 circles here that I'm going to show you what goes into them. This is the schematic that you will use to build a referral-based business. When you have a referral-based business, and this is another thing, everybody, I'm not selling DVDs after this is over. I'm not selling booklets and things like that, and I'm going on a talking series and selling anything. It's not what I do. I'm a loan officer. I do mortgages, okay? When I tell you about building a referral-based business, I'm living it right now. I can go through numbers that as far as any salesperson on here, if you want to talk one-on-one, I'll give you some financial numbers that this model will blow your mind about the money, the business, the consistent, steady business through good and bad times that this roadmap does. I call it the 3 circles of success. This was actually drawn for me on a napkin at Ditka's restaurant. And of course, what I should say today is I should probably just go get a napkin and say this was the napkin. But honestly, I lost it and Lord knows where it's at. So it's not as great of a story without the napkin. But this thing was on a napkin and that's where it was. If we look back up to the material, you'll see it says you must not worry about how much money you will make. You must understand that business is a marathon and not a sprint. You must pour every ounce of your soul and thoughts into that one single question. What can I do for you? Below that, it says, here are the questions. If Sarah's up there, if you could scroll that down a little bit for me, if you're there. But if not, that's okay. I'm going to read it to you here. Mo, we'll go over this way here. Let's look at this over here. Here are the questions that we have that you want to ask to ultimately your referral source. And I'm going to show you how do we get to that referral source. One question is what can I do for you? Thanks so much for scrolling that down, Sarah. What can I do for you? Another question is, What can I do to help your business? That's the second bullet point down. The third bullet point is, what tools can I offer you which I can save you time? Another question is what can I do to help you make more money? How can I help you grow your business? All of these questions that are on the sheet there, you can't really read them too good on my board here, but that's why I'm cheating, because you don't see this right now, but there's this gigantic light sitting in front of the TV I'm looking at. So I can't see the questions that Sarah's got up there, but I see them here. What can I do for you? What do you need to help your business? What tools do you need that I can offer you? How can I help you make more money? How can I help you grow your business? You should see the common thread amongst all of those questions. It's about what I can do for you. And I will say this today over and over again, and I cannot be more sincere when I tell you this. Every single person on this call, my phone number and information is at the end of this material. And I know that Amy, I think, sent it out to everybody today. But if anybody on this call, when you're done, if you say, hey, I've got questions, Hesh, I didn't ask it in the chat box. I want to talk one-on-one. I want to take a deeper dive on some of the points you made. I'm glued to my phone 24/7, for goodness sake. I mean, I can give you 1,000 different examples. I have USDA right now on a USDA purchase. They're not happy with the water test that was done. They're wanting it from the county. The seller's telling us if we wait another day, they're going to cancel the contract. I'm a loan officer, everyone. I do these presentations, but I do the presentations to drive business in the door. I'll talk about that a little bit more. But anybody on this call that needs help further than this, call me. But you'll see it through the questions. What can I do for you? What do you need to help your business? What tools do you need that I can offer you? How can I help you make more money? How can I help you grow your business? These are the questions to ask. If I go back to the material, and thanks for having that up there, Sarah, the next paragraph down on page 1 near the bottom, these questions shall be applied to the 3 circles of success after we draw them. And then I will show you a real life application of something which I have done for 16 years using this model. Again, I've done this for 21 years. I've used this model for 16 years actually in total. Below that on the bottom of page 1, this is step 1. So if you're watching, you need to have a sheet of paper and a pen. Step 1 is to draw 1 circle at 6 o'clock, and I'm going to show it here. You can leave that up, Sarah. 1 circle at 6 o'clock, 1 circle at 3 o'clock, 1 circle at 12 o'clock. So the first thing I want everybody to do who's watching this is to draw 3 circles, and you're going to draw the circles like this. This is step 1. This is step 1 of the plan. Again, I'm going to get to the continuing education for real estate agents, but the truth of the matter is it could be anything. It could be continuing education for healthcare providers. Believe it or not, doctors need continuing education. It could be networking with a financial planner with no continuing education, but it's identifying the planner. This roadmap, as I call it, really details out a lot. If we scroll down a little, Sarah, thanks so much for working that. Step 2, I want you to write down your name in the 6 o'clock circle. I'm going to show it to you like this. So in the 6 o'clock circle, I'm going to write down my name, Hesh. Okay? So I write down my name. That's the second step. Below that, it says write down your target customer in the 12 o'clock circle. Your target customer is who you are going after, who you are trying to get to use your services. So up here, for me personally, it's a home buyer. Now, I know the ladies from the collaborative, of course, are, this is for the collaborative, but since I also post this on my Facebook page and I invite a lot of real estate agents in also, I'm going to spin this a little different just in case any of the attendees are real estate agents. I even know that I've got some people in other sales jobs and things like that. It all applies the same. I'll give you an example. For Hesh, the loan officer, it's a home buyer. For a real estate agent, it might be a homeowner. This is your target here. This is your target. This is who you are going after. Now, as the gentleman back in Chicago explained to me years ago, like, Sarah, can you pull that down really quick? If you can. I don't know if you can or you can't. We'll leave it there then. Fair enough. So this is as it was explained to me, with this here, this roadmap, is that what salesmen do, here's Hesh the salesman, here's his target audience. This is his target. Salesmen just go after their targets. For every salesman watching this, think about it. You want to go after home buyers. You want to go after homeowners. You want to do some refinances or something like that. They go from here to here. They go directly after their target. Do you want to know how they do that? They cold call all day long, or they cold call agents, dial 50 agents every single day. This is the roadmap that salespeople are taught. Who's your customer? Go and get them. What I was taught on January 19th of 2002 is don't go directly after this circle here. This is your target audience. You want to go after this circle here. So when we look back to the material, if we can pull the material back up, if that's possible there. Is the material. Thank you so much. I apologize, Sarah, if I'm driving you nuts with having you go back and forth with this thing. But if you look back at step 3, it says, this is the key to the entire formula. And I'm telling everybody right now, this is the key to the formula. Step 3. Step 3, you must ask this question. You've got to listen to this question. Who works with your client as part of their normal business day, whom you can offer something of value to, such that they send you their client who just happens to be your target customer who is drawn in the 12 o'clock circle. I'll stop right there. If you can blow this thing up here. So, or if you can minimize that and show me big, can you put me big on the screen big, or am I on the screen big, or it doesn't even matter, that's okay. So here's Hesh. So here's the question for this step here. Watch this one. This is a home buyer. I'm going to start with the home buyer. That's what I'm looking at. That's my target audience. Here's me. This is the question to ask. Who is in this circle who works with my target audience on a regular part of their business day? Who is in there? Who's in this circle where if I can go and get them on board, they will connect me to this person? For me, one of the answers was a real estate agent, a realtor. So in that circle, for all the loan, for everybody watching, you're going to write down realtor in that box. So here's Hesh. This is a real estate agent. Here's a home buyer. Now watch this. Instead of chasing after home buyers like this, I went in this direction here. I went after a real estate agent. The real estate agents connect to the home buyers. So if I can figure out a way to get these people to like me, don't forget, everybody, I was asked this question about 1 hour ago before I started this seminar. I was asked by somebody, Hesh, how do you get a real estate agent to send a buyer to you? You know what my answer was? My answer was a rhetorical question, because you'll end up finding out that I ask a lot of questions back at you. My question was, how do you make a friend? If you have a son or a daughter or a child, and your child says, you move into a new neighborhood, and your child says, Mom and Dad, how do I make a friend? What would you say to them? And I'm being serious, by the way. Everybody thinks that there's some magic secret, there's some book, there's some way to buy leads. If I just spend $100, take all of that garbage and throw it out the window. What I'm showing you from my personal experience, what makes me different is this. Liberty Home Mortgage is a mortgage banker. We're in 29 states. This month, we're probably closing 60 million in volume. We are 90% purchase oriented. Purchases are what we do. I have 165 employees, 65. It's a decent sized company. I live this stuff. I live it. I don't talk it. I don't read it in a magazine or hire somebody to come and talk about it. I'm the guy doing it. So when you see me standing in front of you saying, hey, everybody, this works, you want to know why? Because it works and I've done it. And I didn't stop doing it 3 years ago. I always tell people, if something worked, you'd still be doing it. I've been doing this for 16 years and I haven't stopped. So this roadmap works. I'm telling you, it's a fact, but you got to follow me on it. Here's you. Identify in this circle who works with who's in this circle as part of their normal business. For me, it was a real estate agent. I went in this direction. Now, the next question, if you can pull the sheet or the material back up, Sarah, for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Step 4, we answer this question and then it is off to the races. This is when the work begins. What can we offer the person who we identified in step 3 That's the people in the 3 o'clock position. What can we offer the person who we identified in step 3 of value? Below that, it says, we circle back to the original questions which we had written down. What can you do for them? What do they need to help their business? What tools can you offer them which can save them time? How can you help them make more money? How can you help them grow their business? Below that, you'll see page 2 at the bottom. If we scroll down a little bit, Sarah, it says, here's a real life example of me using this formula to grow my business and my brand. You'll see this. It says, this was the process. In the 6 o'clock circle, I wrote my name. In the 12 o'clock circle, I wrote down my target customer, someone buying a home. In the 3 o'clock circle, I asked a question. Who works with home buyers as part of their normal daily routine? We move on to page 3. The answer was real estate agents. The follow-up question after identifying real estate agents was, what thing of value can I offer them which can help them, which in turn causes them to refer their clients, a home buyer, to me? And the answer for me was continuing education for their license. So now watch this here. If you could take that down for me, Sarah, and Mo, you get it back up here. So ultimately, here's where the continuing education came from. We're sitting in Ditka's restaurant in Chicago. Now, mind you, I didn't come up with the CE back then. At that moment, the game was coming up. We had to leave for the game besides. We're eating breakfast, lunch before the game. We wrote down the picture. Here was Hesh. Here was the real estate agents. The question is, what can Hesh offer to the real estate agents, which, if he positions himself as an expert of what he does? And you're going to notice I say that a ton on a ton of things that I do. You have to position yourself as an expert. I'll tell everybody watching this right now. Join my seminar this Thursday on civil rights. I'm going to tell you something, man. It is intense. Again, I go through the speeches. Wait until you see the Civil Rights Act of 1866 and you read, why was that Civil Rights Act so important? And then you read that the true enforcement did not occur for another 102 years. That stuff's a big deal. When you watch my seminar on Thursday, I'll tell you one thing you're going to walk away with. You're going to say, that dude knows what he's talking about. Wait until you come to my seminar on credit, on debt ratio, on no money down purchases, on FHA lending guidelines, on how mortgages are sold in the secondary market. You watch me talk at my seminars, the one thing you're going to constantly say is, that guy knows what he's doing better than anybody I've ever seen. That's called positioning yourself as the expert. That's where continuing education comes in. So the question was, what thing of value can I offer to them, the real estate agents, such that I could position myself as an expert? The answer was continuing education, CE. That's what it was. Now, another thing for you real quick. Let me jump back a step. And by the way, Sarah, if we have any questions, if anybody has any questions up until this point of where we are, feel free to type into the chat box. Sarah will, Danielle will tell me if it's in there. And then, of course, I can do the best I can to answer your question. So watch this one. Let's say we have real estate agents on the line, okay? And if you're a loan officer, offer this up to a real estate agent. Again, the goal is to help their business, not your business. It might sound like the most bizarre thing on the planet, but when you start putting the needs of others in front of your own needs, what you start finding out is you walk and talk better, you walk with more confidence, you feel better, people actually look at you differently, and believe it or not, business starts coming in and business takes care of itself. So let's go to a real estate agent. All the agents, if there's any on the line, who I've invited, some of them, you want a homeowner. This is your target audience. I'm going to write down another name in this circle. I'm going to write down divorce attorney. Here's a divorce attorney. Divorce attorneys work with people who own homes. Think about it. I want to say statistically, I think 66% of America owns a home. It's 66 to 72. It's somewhere in there. I haven't looked up the latest data, but you're talking it's in the high 60s. So if 66% of America owns a home, that means for every 10 divorces that a divorce attorney talks to, 6 of them own a home. You show me 6 people who are getting a divorce that own a house, I'll show you 6 people that have to sell a home, 6 people who have to buy another home, or 6 people who might have to refinance a home. So for every real estate agent on this call, you use these 3 circles to say, I want to get more listings. Great. Who works with homeowners such that if you get them on board with you, they will send you a homeowner? As an example, a divorce attorney. They're in this circle. The next question becomes, what can you offer to a divorce attorney, a family practice attorney? Sorry about that one. You don't call them divorce attorneys or family practice. What can you offer to a family practice attorney such that next time they run into a divorced couple, which they're working every single day of their life, they feed that one over to you? This roadmap works, period. I can tell you this one. This might sound a little bit crazy to you, but watch this one. I'm going to pretend I'm a used car salesman. I sell cars. Here's Hesh. Watch how crazy that I've gotten with this thing. This is Hesh, the used car salesman. My target audience is a 16-year-old who drives. I think most states, you're 16 years old, you can get your temps, your license, whatever you can get. My target audience is a 16-year-old. Who has a group of 16-year-olds, a pile of them somewhere where if I can get to them, I can sell more cars? I'll show you this one, a high school. I've actually done talks for auto dealerships on this, okay? A high school. Think about it. 16-year-olds hang out in high school. They're in high schools, okay? Suddenly, instead of going after a bunch of 16-year-olds to buy cars from me, I'm going to go to a high school. I'm going to talk to the principal, and I'm going to tell the principal that my car dealership is offering a don't drink alcohol on prom night. We want you to live through prom night. We're offering safe driving, educational tutorials, handouts, everything there is. By the way, I just want to set up a table in your cafeteria to hand out all of this literature to provide value to all of the students in the cafeteria. I've got news for you. Go to 100 high schools and try that. I'll guarantee 5 or 10 high schools out of 100 say, you know what? Come into our cafeteria, set up shop. You set up shop here at the high school, you just got to the 16-year-olds here. This is a used car salesman. There is no job anybody on this call can tell me that I cannot use this diagram, or this roadmap as I call it, to diagram out how and who you have to approach. Now we circle all the way back to what I said in the first place. That step 1 is, well, it goes back to the real estate agent. Now, what can I offer the agent? In 2004, I figured out what I could offer real estate agents. By the way, when I first discovered this roadmap, you know what I tried in 2002? I tried calling them on the phone. It didn't work. I tried going into their offices. It didn't work. I tried going to their open house Sundays. It didn't work. I tried mailing them things. It didn't work. I tried 1,000 different things. It didn't work. I took them to Indians baseball games. I did all of this stuff. Suddenly by 2004, I discovered continuing education. And I said, you know what? They need continuing education for their license. If I could pile 30 or 40 of them in a room and they're trapped for 2 hours long, I think I can position myself as somebody they should do business with. And this is what I did. Now, in the last 3 weeks, I'll tell you guys this. I'm brand new to doing Zoom calls. All of this stuff on the Zoom, I've done seminars for 16 years. I've done them throughout Ohio, Florida, and California, all approved for continuing education for real estate agents and attorneys, actually. I get my courses approved by the Ohio Supreme Court also. So you'll find out a lot of real estate agents are also attorneys, or a lot of attorneys are agents, and you can work both of them. And that's also looking for divorce attorneys and different things like that. But I've done these for years and years and years, 16 years of seminars. When coronavirus hit, I couldn't do my seminars at the hotels in Cleveland anymore. You can't go into a hotel, at least for the last couple months. So I had to take my seminars online to a Zoom call. I've done 3 of them so far. My first seminar, I had 91 real estate agents and attorneys on. My second seminar, we had 141. Last week, we had 71. So in 3 webinars I've done, this was a 3-hour lecture. This was 2 hours. This was 2 hours. By the way, this was on civil rights. This was on appraisals. This was on pre-approvals. I went over how to identify a good pre-approval from a bad pre-approval. And if you watch that webinar I did last week on pre-approvals, you would say, you know what? That's the guy to send buyers to because he knows what he's doing. These three, if you put them together, think about this, everybody. 3, 13, 0, 2, 3. I have lectured to 303 real estate agents in the last 3 weeks over what's the difference between a good pre-approval and a bad pre-approval. Let's talk about civil rights in the United States and the effect and what you must pay attention to as someone that works in real estate. Let's talk about appraisals because I have news for you. When you get into multiple offers and there's 20 offers on a house and it's going for $30,000 over the list price, you might have appraisal issues or value issues, especially when the buyer's going VA with no money down and the seller's covering closing costs. That was the appraisal topic. 300 agents in the last 3 weeks. Now mind you, I talked for 2 straight hours on appraisals. Again, if you sat on that call, you would say, this guy knows everything about appraisals. It's about positioning yourself as the expert. When I started with these seminars for CE, I'm telling you this right now, I have a captive audience who is absolutely, positively stuck for 2 hours and they cannot go anywhere. As a matter of fact, I actually tell a joke where I say, well, for the next hour and 59 minutes, you're stuck listening to me talk. And you know what? I'm just going to talk about myself because I love myself and I love telling my story and I have a big ego, okay? My name is Harsh Sagafi and I go on and on about all this goofy stuff. But I don't. I go into the material, of course. But this is just a picture of what CE has done. And if you're sitting on this call wondering, how can I get real estate agents to pay attention to me? Well, guess what? I've got 303 that over the last 3 weeks, they've been listening to me, watching me for 2 to 3 straight hours. And again, if you want to join in on the call this Thursday, you don't have to sit there for 3 hours. Log in for the first 20 minutes, watch it go, and I can even help you get it approved in whatever state you're in. Because again, on the collaborative, that's what the Mortgage Collaborative is about. It's about helping each other become better at our jobs. Because I will tell you this, and I truly believe it. The better all of us, or the better any of us do, the better we all do. So it's a concept that the collaborative really pushes, and I stand by it, and I agree with it. But this is just the last couple of weeks. Sarah, if you could put the material back up, let's now go into the live situation of getting this approved. So I'm on page 3, and I have at the top of page 3, you got that, Sarah, good job. It says, real estate agents need continuing education hours to keep their license compliant with state laws. In order to get approved to provide continuing education in a state, I did the following steps. This is for any state you guys want to go into. If you said, Hesh, Hawaii, this is all you do. You go onto Google, you type in the name of the state followed by this tagline. It says, continuing education course provider approval. If you type in Maine, continuing education course provider approval. If you type in Georgia, continuing education course provider approval. If you type that in, you will pull up the state's website of what it takes to get approved. The next one down says, click on the link which shows up and make sure that it is not a Google ad and it is the state's website. Below that, when you click on the link, it will take you to the state's site and you will find the processes and procedures in order to get the courses approved. If you cannot find the actual course provider application, simply call the Division of Real Estate in that particular state and ask them to email you the instructions. It's that simple. The common theme throughout all of the states is the following. You need to form a company to provide it. That means you have to form an LLC. That's kindergarten, people. Forming an LLC is kindergarten, okay? Go to LegalZoom and you can do it. But if my attorney's watching this, she hates me because I shouldn't say that. Get an attorney to form it for you. It's nothing. Next one down, the instructor typically needs 2 to 5 years of experience in the field which they are lecturing on in order to be an approved instructor. Each state gives the specific requirement. So you need to have 2 to 5 years in the mortgage industry. Generally speaking, that goes for any industry you're lecturing to that's licensed. Next one down, you must provide a sample of the material which you will lecture over. You must provide an example of a certificate which will be provided to attendees. You must mail in $25 or $100 or some nominal fee to get the course approved. Flip to the next page. So I'm on page 4 now at the top of that one. Thank you, Sarah. I'm almost done. From the time that the course is approved, now you have to market it. For the marketing of the seminars, you have multiple options. You can do them in offices, contact a broker and ask them if they would allow you to provide a continuing education class for their agents at their office. I'll tell you this right now, everybody. Agents need this for their license. If you're going to go into an office and do it, they're going to welcome you into the office. They'll have you go into their office. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've gone into some offices where there's been 4 real estate agents that showed up. I've gone into others where there's 40 agents that show up. I don't have to pay for the room. I don't have to pay for anything. I show up and do my talk. If you look below that, you can do them on Zoom calls. Invite local brokers to market to their agents your dates and times of your calls. I do it myself right now. You can do them at hotels or similar venues. You'll have a little bit of a hard time at a hotel right now, but you could. Below that, lists of real estate agent emails and phone numbers can be purchased from any list vendor. I personally use that website right there, realestateagentlist.com, to get my list, which I then call an email. Below that, you can go to local associations and offer it to the association, which will then market to their members. Some key thoughts to keep in mind. If you're not good at presenting in front of a group of people, get good. Okay, I'll stop there really quick. People always say to me, Hesh, I'm not good at public speaking. Well, I've got news for you. Get good at public speaking, okay? Here's something for you too, by the way. I always see this, and this is truly a big mistake. When I did my first seminar ever, June 16th, 2004, it was called Ask the Underwriter. I had the underwriters of Countrywide Home Loans give the talk. Huge mistake, huge mistake. At the second talk, I had my rep from Countrywide Home Loans give the talk. Mistake number 2. At the third one I did, it was half him, half me. At the fourth one I did, it was all me. And since the 4th seminar I've ever done, I've done over 2,000 to 3,000 of these presentations now. And I've had people say, Hesh, but you're good in front of a camera. I'm going to tell everybody this right now. I'm not good in front of a camera. I have to be, I have to, I don't have a choice. I have seen other people pay other people to give the talk. That is the worst idea on the planet Earth, okay? Somebody else talking is not going to feel, they're not going to feel what you feel. When I talk about pre-approvals, I live it every day. I'm not going to pay some attorney to go and talk about credit scoring and what effect it has on FHA loans and collections and judgments and high debt ratios and gift money and sourcing of funds. I'm not going to have somebody else talk about that. They're not living it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about my appraisal where there was no steps on the side of the house by the door. There's a door on the side of the house I've got. There's no steps. The appraiser doesn't call it out. It's a clear safety issue. We need a set of steps there or close the door, lock the door, whatever. I don't want to get into that. But I'm living that deal. I talk differently. So what I'm telling you is you've got to be the one to do the talking. If you're sitting here saying, Hesh, I can't, well, yes, you can. Stop saying you can't, okay? So that's a message for you. If we go back to the material really quick, Sarah, page 4, and thanks for doing that. It says, learn and prepare to and study your material. I'm the 3rd bullet point down. 4th bullet point down, write your own material. It is easier to speak about when you are lecturing. Write your own material. I will give you my material. You could steal all of it if you feel like it, steal it, copy it, whatever. But I'm telling you, if you write it yourself, you'll remember it better. Next one down, choose topics which are of interest to your target audience. For real estate agents, I listed it there. For any help in building this plan or a similar plan to different target audiences. If you sell tennis shoes and you're on this call right now, and you're like, Hesh, I want to sell tennis shoes, I've got news for you. In the 6 o'clock circle is you. In the 12 o'clock circle are runners. In the 3 o'clock circle are track coaches. Go and get track coaches to believe in you as a tennis shoe salesman, and they will have all of their athletes buy your tennis shoes. I can put that schematic into any sales job you want. If you have questions or need help, you got that one there. I've got some real life examples to show really quick. Sarah, if you could throw up that Kansas number 2 PDF version, we're almost done with this. That's the 3rd one. Can you pull up the 2nd one? There you go. Pull up the 2nd one. Thank you. So this here, if you scroll up to the top of that really quick, this is the application for course approvals in the state of Kansas. So as an example, if you're in Kansas and you want to get approved to give CE, when you follow the steps I gave, you will get to this page. If you scroll down just a little bit to the highlighted area, it says, please include the following pursuant to Kansas law, basically, KAR 86-1-10F. It gives you a detailed course outline, course objectives, a textbook, student manual, or any other relevant content, sample of an advertisement. It tells you what you need. Now, as an example, you see that it says pursuant to KAR 86-1-10F. Can you pull up that second one now? It's labeled number 2, that one there. Okay, I Googled KAR 86-1-F, all of that, and look what it pulled up here. This is the actual law in Kansas. Approval of courses of instruction procedure. Look at number 1. It tells you what a school is. Number 2 is a co-sponsor. Letter B, 2B, request for course approval. To obtain commission approval of a course of education required and amendments thereto, each school shall meet the following requirements. It gives you the list. Here's my whole point, everybody. This is kindergarten. All you have to do is read it. That's all you have to do. I can get approved to give continuing education in every single state in this country because it's all the same stuff. This is Kansas. I could show you Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, and I'm telling you this right now, it's all the same. It's not hard. Can you pull up the last one for me, number 3 and the final one? And this is where I finish at. It's this one here. If you scroll down just a little bit there. This is the actual material. When you're sitting here saying, Hesh, what does the actual material look like that you mail to the states? I am doing a 3-hour lecture on Thursday on civil rights, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. I'm not telling you that because I'm trying to get attendees. To tell you the truth, we got well over 100 right now coming. I'm telling you that because if you want to see this live in action go, get on, log in Thursday for 10 minutes. I mean, look at what I've written there. There have been many laws, interpretations, it's scrolling down, violations and opinions since the founding of our country in 1776. So as Sarah scrolls down that slowly, you will see this is my material for civil rights. And Sarah, you can keep scrolling down it if you want, just slowly move along it. So I sent this material to the State of Ohio Division of Real Estate, State of Ohio, Ohio Supreme Court. They approved this material for continuing education. I am going to lecture on this material, and I'll be honest with you, man, I love talking about civil rights. I love it. Look, I got President Lincoln about the Civil War when he took office, and not just over 39 days later, we go into Civil War. So this is the actual material that you submit to the state. This stuff is not hard. You'll see it all right there, the Civil Rights Act of 1866. So I might give you guys a 3-hour lecture right now. So on that note, Sarah, that pretty much winds it down for me. Those are the steps to get approval for continuing education. But more importantly than that, if I take it back to here, this is the roadmap that you want to draw for yourself, where you draw the 3 circles, you identify your target, who works with your target audience, sit down at home, figure it out. The question is, what thing of value can I offer to them? For me, it was continuing education. I gave you the steps to get it approved, and this is what you want. And the whole thought centers around one simple thought. What can I do for you? On that note there, I cannot thank people enough for coming to watch this presentation. Of course, the Mortgage Collaborative, all of the ladies from the Collaborative on, of course. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm available if you guys have questions right now. If you have questions after this, of course, as a true loan officer, my phone's always within hand's reach of me. But that pretty much does it for now. So, Sarah, I'm not sure if there were any questions or not. Hopefully that made sense, and we're good to go.
It definitely made sense. Thank you so much, Hesh. That was great. Thank you again for your time, knowledge, and definitely infectious energy. I always come away from these calls feeling like I need to go run a half marathon or maybe a marathon.
That's too far.
But we know you're busy. We can't thank you enough. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up?
They can call me anytime. I'll give them all the material. I'll help with whatever I've got to help them with. This works. This plan works. So I just got done talking for an hour on that. So I appreciate it.
Again, thank you everybody for attending today. Everyone's going to receive a recording and a copy of this information tomorrow. We want you to check out our upcoming TMC Connect calls. They're on our member event calendar. You can also check out Hesh's past calls that he's done branding yourself. All those are on, you can, if you like podcasts, they're on Buzzsprout and Spotify, or you can check out the Mortgage Collaborative on YouTube. So thanks again, Hesh. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
See you guys.